1. Welcome to my video. So, I saw someone was asking on Reddit, what is the difference between a newbie score and a professional score? And so, this is pretty important to know because if you're going to be saving scores and saving a lot of good scores or acquiring them through other people, you want to have an idea of what a good score looks like and what, a newbie score looks like. So I save both of them, and I would say about 10 to 20% of my scores are really basic rookie scores, rookie or newbie scores. So, like, this is a really simple score. It's a snare score, and we have a snare opened here. And so let's go to the snare. I'm going to drag. This is called an FSC file in FL Studio, and you could save these, and you could drag them out onto the piano roll. And so this is a simple snare, and it's a newbie, a really simple kind of notation in the piano roll. And then we have a faster one, and we have all kinds of different variations. That's a really fast stab that swings down. And so these are all like the beginning ones up here are all they're rookie amateur kinds of sounds. And you could go through them, and then that one just drops down and then drops back up. And then we have a sweep up effect, and these are basic scores, and this is what basic scores look like. And so I'm going to use this. In this track, I just have a kick, a bass, a snare, and a clap. And so we have the 4x4 kick. And then we have the snare, which is sweeping up. I'm going to add it on the last bar here. And I'm going to design another snare really quick. And this is why working with scores is awesome. So I'm going to clone that snare. I'm going to go to it. And now I'm just going to drag a different score in. And I'm going to do something longer. So these are more professional scores. This is what a professional score looks like. And here, let me see. They're not all like this. So this is a little more intricate and dynamic. So let's play this one. And that's a snare. It's a marching kind of snare. And this is another one. And these are the kinds of scores that I like saving. And so we have all these different marching snares. And like that, you can quickly edit these in FL Studio. And if I want to change this notation, like maybe on the first bar, I want to make this drop down like this. And so I can just drop the velocity. And we could just change these so quickly to add new kinds of swings to it. And it just swings a little differently, but this is why I love working with scores. So I'm going to find an 8-bar snare that's kind of sweeps up where the volume is going up. We're going to add this to the track. And this is just, it gets a little quicker, a little quicker, a little quicker, and this sounds like this. So I didn't mean to switch, but so we have a kick now. We have this intro kick, which is sweeping up, and then we have this full snare drum. And this is more of a kind of professional score. This is a really simple, like a newbie score that's just more basic, and it's just introducing the main score. And you can kind of see, like, a rookie score is just really basic notation. It's not really swinging or doing anything insane. And I could clone the snare again and go to the third version, and we could get a really intricate score. So I have some timing variations. And these are my really, like, professional ones that I love. So let's just drag them out. And you can see here in the notation of this snare now, using a different score, the speeding is really quick and then it slows down, and at the same time it's dropping in volume. And you could get these really tense, dynamic scores, and you can do them really quickly in FL Studio. And like, we could just throw this in anywhere. Let's throw after the fourth bar here, and we're just gonna add that into the mix. And you could do this over and over, and like, I could clone the snare again and add a different scoring variation. And so we're gonna go to the fourth one here, and let's just take out a different one. What does this sound like? Let's see what this sounds like. No. Let's check this one out. That's on the wrong key. It should be on C5. Alright, who cares? We're just doing a demonstration here. So we're going to add this score in as it's going to play on the first bar when the beat drops in. And now we want to add a bass. We have no notation in this bass. And so again, this is why scores are so awesome to have your own score bank in FL Studio. Now I'm going to go up to one of my bass score banks, and I have all these bass rolls. I have Omnisphere. It's playing a weird bass sample. And I'm just going to start dragging out some different basses. Let's see. All right, that's interesting. So we could just throw that into the beat, and now we have a kick, we have a bass, we have just a snare doing really basic things. And let's play this now just to see what it sounds like. It sounds like crap, but I'm just like, there's so many things you have to do as you're producing. Like, the snare is too loud. Let's just bring the snare down a little bit. It's too intrusive. I don't really like this. Let me just cut out the second half of this, just to make it a little. Oh, we'll drag the second half over here. And now this, we have a clap, and so let's go through some clap scores here just to show you different types of scores that we have. And actually, like, when I use my claps, I have so many snare scores that sometimes I'll just use a snare score for a clap. And in my clap folder, I don't have that many scores because I reuse scores from other banks. But we have, this is a clap score. This one's a little more interesting. Let's see this one. I have no idea. We just accidentally dragged out. Let's delete this. Let's go back to our score here. So let's see. Do we have anything interesting? I know I have a lot more clap scores that I saved in other folders. On beat claps. What do these do? Let's see. 9-bar clap collapse. So this is a clap. And, you know, this goes down. It just makes a down effect. So we're going to add that clap before the snare. And let's just see what this sounds like. And I'm just showing you, like, before we had nothing. And so if you were opening up a track in FL Studio and you're trying to manually draw out notation, it's going to take you forever, as opposed to having a score bank. And like I said, about 20% of my scores are really basic newbie, like rookie kinds of sounds, or really basic movements that are more, they hit on the beat or they're really simple. And then most of my scores are just really complex and elaborate, and they're saved in so many different banks that are targeted for different instruments. But I can show you how to do this, and you should do this in FL Studio because it'll, like, if you're wasting more than 10 minutes writing a score and it's a usable score, you want to save it. But at the same time, you don't want to save every score that you ever write. Um, and so just find things that sound good, that are usable. And anytime you do something more complex, like if it sounds good, save it. Not all of my complex scores sound good, but I try to save my really usable stuff. And like marching snares are awesome. There are all kinds of timing variations. I have grooves for tom drums. I love tom drums. Let's add a tom drum to this track, and so we'll just call this uh, a tom, and let's find a tom sample to add really quick. So I have some good toms over here, and we'll drag a tom out, and let's go to our scores. And it's just so much quicker than I'm so sick of writing notation, and this just changes everything about how you produce in FL Studio. It makes it so much more fun because you're saving so much time being able to throw together these really good beats. So let's go to our scores here, and we have the tom. I don't really have any saved up yet. I'm still working on these, but let's just see what we got going on here. And like it doesn't, but when you just have a groove, I can take a closed hat and use that for my tom. And we could throw that in over here just to add some more instruments to the track. Let's add a clap. I'm going to add this clap to the second part of the song, and I'm just showing you, like, scores are awesome. How much time would it take you to get these types of dynamics in a track if you're not using scores? I see so many threads about mastering or music theory, and I'm not knocking down any of those things. I'm saying there's a huge blind spot in production in regards to scoring. And I consider it the most important thing you can learn, whether you're using FL Studio or Ableton or Cubase or Logic or anything. You have to learn how to save scores, how to build a score bank, acquire all the best ones you can, save them, and then you can execute really cool ideas super quick in your tracks. And so we added that clap in, and I wanted to lower the volume. And forgive me, I still have COVID here. I have some kind of long form of COVID that's been going on like 3 months now. But let's see this. And like it's so quick. I'm just gonna throw anything that I want. I'm just doing random things here. I'm gonna add an acid synth. And let me see if I could. This is the problem with having too many plugins. It takes forever just to find. Here it is. So this is my acid plugin, and I'm going to go over. Let's find the key that the bass is in. So the bass is playing. Let's see here. Bass is playing on C. So I'm going to go over and we're going to create an acid sound. Let's just call number 12 acid. And I'm going to go into my scores and let's just see. We have, what can we use? Let's do, hold on. So let's just go into, you know what? I have some bass. They're called bass toppers. That might be better for like an acid sound. So let's see. And so that's a score. I call it a bass topper because this would play on top of a running bass or a mid bass, and it has these variations at the end that add a lot of swing and dynamic, but they kind of top off like a more foundational bass. And so I'm going to take this acid, and we're going to throw this acid into, let's see, we'll put it into number 7 here. I'm going to open up homicide distortion. We're going to add some distortion to this acid. I'm going to add a bit of overdrive, turn it up here. Let's cut out the low end with an EQ. I'm going to drop this down. And I'm trying to brighten up this acid sound. And so now let's see what it sounds like. Let's add a bit of reverb. And now, let me see what it is. So this acid is, I think it's playing too high. So let's drop it an octave. That sounds better. And so we could do so many things. We could change the notation on the acid. So let's just put this acid. Let's just play it here, and I'm going to change the scoring on this acid. So I'm going to clone it, and we're going to drag in anything. We're just going to pull anything out of my scores. And so, let's see what this sounds like. All right, we're not going to use that. Let's see. All right, so we just have different notation now on the score. We're going to play this in the beginning. How do we want to use this in the track? Let's see. We have a snare here. Let's play it after the snare. So we got like a snare here, acid, snare, acid, and let's add it again over here, and then the main acid drops in. And let's drop the filter on the acid, pull it down a bit. And I'm just showing you how you can build tracks quickly when you have scores saved in FL Studio. This it makes it so much fun. So let's play this. Okay, so that, I don't like anything really. There's just so many ways we can clean this up. We could start layering sounds to the track. There's too much going on too quickly. There's not enough atmosphere. There's no drums, no hats. The sounds aren't deep, they're not filtered properly. But I'm just showing you by using scores in FL Studio, you could build tracks really quickly that sound awesome. And if I spent an hour or two just working on this, maybe even just a half hour, it would sound so much better as I start adding more instruments and cleaning things up. But this is the main difference between a newbie score and a professional score and everything in between. And I could do more videos about this in the future. But thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.